Hello, everybody, and it is time for another Pigskin in the Moshpit podcast. I am your host, BigBri, and as always, we have our esteemed panel of metalhead sports junkies. As I bring them in one at a time, first off, Mr. Don Foose.
Hey, what's up?
Spud Monsters, One Life All In. Next up, we got Mr.
What
Jeff
up?
Hatrix.
Hey,
Purgatory. We usually didn't announce Jeff as the first band is Purgatory, but today we're saying Purgatory, then Doom Candy, and all the other great stuff he does. But right now, Purgatory's heading the pack. We also have with us our sports absolute mentor and brainiac, Mr. Dan Gilles.
What's up, everybody?
What's happening, man? Dan's doing his own thing also right now. With these guys are playing out a lot. He's him and Bernie really are doing a lot of them shows together. We'll talk a little bit about that also. We have some special guests with us tonight, though, and we brought out a very special guest. Second time on the show, we're gonna bring out the Wolf, Larry the Wolf.
Yo,
Animals himself.
Hey,
Whoa!
How's it going, man?
great to be with you all. Thank you.
Hell
Yeah,
yes. And this is
Welcome
like
back.
hell yeah, man. This is so cool. We'll be talking football. Real quick though, I do want to talk a little bit about, I'm sure anybody that's watching wants to hear a little bit about thoughts about what went on Saturday night. Purgatory reunion. Had a lot of surprises. We had a Don Foose visit on stage out of nowhere. He
Fit
ends
to be
up
tied to the tracks.
it was awesome. A lot of footage of it. I got some of it. I was going to try to get it on here actually, but I didn't get it in time. But Don, of course, does his legendary, his signature stage dive into the crowd, and then he's surfing at the Maple Grove. I don't know how many of those happen at the Maple Grove, but that was
Hey, Larry, man, if your team ever needs a logo, Don's the man. He's in the air. He's in the air all the time.
like a human billboard. Yeah, man, it was just a fun night. It was insane. Dan, you had a good Saturday night also, though. You guys were playing out Saturday night. You guys were up at Solid Gold, doing the deal thing, right?
Yes,
Bob Rolls?
we had a really good turnout. I was really surprised, especially considering Judas Priest is playing in Youngstown and the Purgatory show is going on, and there were some other decent shows around, and I was very happy with the turnout we got. The people were into it. Bernie was riling them all up like he's good at doing. It was a fun show.
Yeah,
awesome.
Those are good shows. Bernie Hansel's a great performer. He really is a great singer, great performer. A lot of fun to watch. But yeah, I wanted to bring that up because we never really get to talk about you guys too much and Bernie and stuff, but it's cool. But anyways, we'll talk more about some of that stuff later. And we got Larry the Wolf with us. Of course, it's just been announced last week that Rock and Roll Hall of Fame show, it's going to be taking place, I think, August 17th, right? And that's a Saturday night. Outside show. You got the Manimals. You got Midnight headlining it. And then Purgatory is also playing on this bill. This is going to be off the chain. And what we just saw was off the chain Saturday, but this is a different
have a little room.
It's a little and you never know. Yeah, Foose comes back out. You better get some more room because but dude, Foose, you can wiggle like through the smallest areas, man. Like you were like, I was like, there's no room up there, and you're like, yeah, hold my beer, and you're like,
root beer.
Oh yeah, well yeah, right. I get you. But you know what I mean, dude? I don't know where you were fitting in on that stage, but and going full speed, like you
gotta find the gaps.
Yeah, I noticed that you're not like
in China.
Yeah, you weren't like, you know what, I got to be safe here. You're like, this is the speed I do it at.
Hey, like I told you, I was trying to kick a few Buckeye cards out of those guys' pockets. Bunch of old people at that show.
Yeah, there wasn't there? It was a great crowd, man. It was a lot.
Yeah, it was a good time.
It was a lot.
Purgatory killed it.
There's a lot of great shit to come up. This is gonna be a great summer. I got a feeling we're gonna have a lot of fun this summer. It's already shaped up into something great. When they said the Manimals are back, it's like, well,
I can't wait.
It is now.
The Manimals, dude.
Will be howling.
Yep.
Hey.
Larry the Wolf, man. Come on, dude.
Not wait.
Guys, BigBri. Now, Jeff, I don't know how you feel because you play all the time. Me, this is like once every decade or every couple leap years I come out.
I've been off for a while, man.
All right, well,
I'm
BigBri,
ready to
don't
get
build
back.
it up too far because give us,
we want
to under promise and over deliver, right? As they say.
Well, it's too bad for you that you're in the Manimals. Well, the people are already like going to be ready to like, and you don't got to be great. That's the thing about, you don't have to be great as far as like perfection goes. Greatness doesn't come in like the notes you play. It's just the vibe that comes out when it happens. When Purgatory came out, I don't even think I heard the first 2 minutes of notes or anything. It was insanity, and that was what it was about. Was those first 2 minutes, right? Like it didn't matter, man. The energy was right. The Manimals are going to bring the energy. There's no question about it. That's what I'm thinking.
I can't wait.
Go ahead, Don. The words perfection and Manimals have never really aligned.
It's not supposed to be in music.
I say we're playing hardcore shows. It's
Yeah.
all about attitude and energy, and I don't give a fuck about if I blow a
100%.
few notes. I guarantee I don't even remember half the effing lyrics when I'm doing, and I wrote them.
You don't even have to.
I'm saying sometimes.
Mostly, I'll be singing them, dude. Don't worry, I got you.
I'll sing them too, man. Let me sing. I want to get.
Don's been on with us before. I remember 25 years ago at the Odeon. I looked side stage left. I see Don there, and I'm struggling. Don, come out and help me. And
Hey, man, you say the words, man. That's my dream to sing up on stage with you, dude.
Oh yeah, man.
It was great.
Island of Lost Souls, man. Oh.
Or why don't we just get the Spud Monsters together and have that happen, and then just have Don up there for the entire, Spud Monsters set. Anyways, let's talk a little football for a little while, though. We hate to change it. Let's change the gears up a little. We'll come back to this in a little bit, but that's what we are. We're a football podcast, and as sad as it, I was having fun talking about that, but we'll flip it here. Football. We just had the draft. Obviously, that's like latest thing that's going on in the NFL right now. This is their their offseason Super Bowl. So basically, we haven't had a first rounder in a while. For we know why. We made a crazy trade. Crazy in the way that we gave up a lot for any player. It's just it's a lot of first round picks. So now we're coming around, and this was the last year of that. Barry's been pretty good at getting second rounders. I will say, like his track record with second rounders is not bad. It's actually probably better than his first rounders. So, one thing I like about Barry, and whether there's any like validity to liking this or not, he picks Buckeyes, and he picks from a college that produces pros, right? Like our blast regimes, it was always like these colleges you never heard of, or somebody, it's like. It was
Need all the
stretch.
Florida kids.
Yeah, well, right. We were going down, and it's even taking the kid from Michigan, it wasn't a bad pick at all. I mean, it was actually a really, it was a good pick.
It's a great pick.
Yeah, it really was. It was. I don't know, man. I don't hate the draft. I think it was a nice, safe draft. They don't need much. It's not like they really have to go out and if they don't plug this hole, oh shit, it's over. They don't have that problem. So I don't know. What do you guys think? We'll start with Don. He's the first one I'm looking at there.
I love the Michael Hall Jr. pick, and then getting Zach Zinter in the third round was, I think, a steal. And I think with this regime, with Barry and Stefanski, I think it's going to be the first full season where we can really judge them because everybody's coming off injuries or suspensions and all that stuff. They're going to be playing their picks now. So now let's see what they can do. And man, that offensive line's all beefed up now. Everything's good, man. I think it's going to be a great season. You know who I really wanted in the first round, in the second round, if he fell to it, was who the Jets got. That's Larry's team, Olu Fashanu, man. He's from Penn State, a great offensive tackle, man.
Yeah, that would have been nice to pick up a nice tackle.
Yeah, I wasn't too. I'm still not all that sold on Wills, but whatever.
Yeah,
we'll see.
He hasn't really been that great. I mean, let's just be honest. He hasn't really lived up to his pick.
Yeah.
What do you think, Jeff? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Don.
No. I just said the rest of the draft picks, I wasn't too crazy about Jamari Thrash, but you never know. I just still feel like Anthony Schwartz is kind of, I'm still burnt out by that, and I see him as same type of player, but we'll see.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, like it's a swing. It's a swing, and hopefully you get a hit out of it. That's what it sounds like.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Jeff.
I feel like Thrash has better hands. He's a little less when he's got somebody hanging on him, but I think he's all around better player. But there is questions always, especially with third round receivers, fourth round, whatever it was. But I think we're on an upswing. We get rid of Elliott, who had maybe 4 good plays in however many years he was here. We get rid of Schwartz. I think there is an upside a little bit. I think they let the draft come to them, which was really nice instead of chasing anyone. And they have a realistic amount of players between the draft and the undrafted free agents to really get a look at these guys instead of having too many people in here all at once. So I'm pretty excited about it. If you look at it, it's like Zinner is like Jeffrey Simmons when the Titans got him. He couldn't really play for a while, but he's going to make a big difference. And he'll probably inherit one of those tackle or guard jobs and be ready. And I think we'll finally pick a tackle early next year because I think Wills is done. Maybe even Conklin.
Okay. All right. What about you, Dan? How you feeling?
Well, for the first time in a long time, I kind of felt like I really didn't care about the draft. It was It was weird to not really. I mean, the roster is stacked, so it's like you're basically just picking guys that you feel like is going to make the most impact. It's going to fill a depth position, and I feel like because of that, they didn't make a wild trade to move up. They didn't make any trades to move down. They just kind of stayed pat, and like someone mentioned earlier, let the draft go to them. And I think it paid off really well. I know the Thrash pick is one that I kind of raised my eyebrow a little bit because, you get these speed guys and they're great at track, but they suck at football because they can't catch.
Yeah.
They go to Siberia and can't catch a cold. But they took Schwartz high and they took this guy in the 5th round. So I'm a little more palatable with that because, I mean, 5th round guys, it's like sometimes they pan out, most of the times they don't. You're not wasting what I consider like 1st through 4th are kind of like your quality picks, and then 5th through 7th is like, well, let's roll the dice and see if this guy pans out. And if he doesn't, oh well, he's gonna be in the practice squad. He'll be playing the UFL in 2 years. It'll be fine. So, overall, I mean, they only got 6 guys. I think they did the best that they could. And I think that there's going to be some guys that are going to make they're going to get some quality minutes. I think Hall and Zinter, once he heals up, that dude should have been a 1st round pick. He fell to us in the 3rd round because he broke his leg. So, I hate Michigan, but it seems like for the most part, the Browns, when they draft Michigan players, they tend to pan out.
Yeah.
No, but the exception of Braylon
Steve Everett.
Steve Everett.
Peoples Jones, he was a 6th round pick. He was great. I mean,
yes, he was.
He had a lot of potential.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I just think that the Big Ten right now is producing the big players, the big pro players right now, and that's what you should go with. And we avoided that a lot in the past. I just believe that, they're proven. I mean, these guys come out and a lot of them are pro ready, and even with Jones that we got from the Buckeyes on the offensive line last year, in the 4th round, wasn't he? In the 4th round.
He was 4th rounder, yep.
And he came right in and he was already playing in the pros. I'm not saying everybody from Ohio State pans out either. I'm not saying that. There's no foolproof college plan. I mean, for Christ's sake, since only Stroud is the only quarterback that you can really say has had really any success as a pro. I mean, from OSU, one thing they've never produced, they've produced mega linebackers, mega running backs, defensive backs, you name
offensive linemen.
Yeah, you name it, but quarterback? Nope. None. 0. A lot of great college quarterbacks, but pro? None. It's weird. It's almost kind of strange that's like that, right?
All right,
Larry, now with you, I want to talk to you a little bit about the Jets because that's your team, and I know you told me before. You're like I know I like everybody, but that's your team. The Jets. You know the history. I mean, you got. You know more about Joe Namath. I guarantee you, Joe Namath don't know anything about himself. What you know, you could put out the stats, you know everything, and they're very similar to the Browns. This perpetual chase to be good. It just seems like it never has ended, and we've done everything, throwing money at it, whatever. You guys have done the same road.
Well, I'll mention a couple of first. I don't like everybody. I hate most everybody, but I like you guys. People get on my last fucking nerve every fucking day.
Is that my internet doing that?
I love being with all you guys. That's what it is.
That's awesome.
I will tell you, I'll preface my thing, and it's really interesting stuff you said because, I follow the Jets. But again, as I mentioned last time, I follow good football. I was a little distracted this past weekend because I was actually down in Nashville.
Awesome.
And I had an opportunity to compete with my daughter. She's a javelin thrower for Marshall University. Marshall, I think, had 6 guys, 4 or 6 going to draft this year. Of course, guy you might have heard of by now. I remember Randy Moss came from Marshall. Chad Pennington was a decent player for them also. But I had the rare opportunity to go compete in a college meet at Vanderbilt with my daughter. So I threw in men's shot put. They let me enter. So I got to throw at a bunch of collegians as well as a couple of guys unattached trying to make the Olympic trial standards. So I was a little distracted. I watched the draft at some place, on Friday night, and I was keeping track of it in the car. Don, you mentioned that fellow before the Jets took the sexy pick that the Jets fans wanted was Bowers. They wanted him because the Jets haven't had a quality tight end since Mickey Schuler, who was a quality player in the early mid '80s for the Jets. Before then, they had Rich Castor, who was a great talent that got moved to wide receiver many years ago because he's just too tall to be a tight end. They haven't had a great tight end, and of course the game evolves so much. The NFL is becoming to me like it's funny. The AFL 60 years ago, they're 60 some years ago, they were drafting Namath and Bob Lilly and these other guys fighting with the NFL for guys. 60 years later, it looks a lot like the AFL. Everybody's throwing the ball down the field. All the rules have changed from 78 on. They have dramatically changed to leverage points. They want points. So, of course, the only real positions that have gotten really harder to play in today's game are cornerbacks because they can't mug everybody down the field the way Darryl and everybody else did in past generations.
Yeah,
they couldn't do that. They could beat the shit out of guys up until 78 rule change. The Mel Blount, whatever his name is from Steelers. They couldn't mug them anymore. And there's no greater testament to that than if you look at Dan Fouts' career statistics. The first 6 years, he's absolutely mediocre in the league. Pedestrian. 1978 rule changes came in. Linemen can extend their arms. Receivers can bump after or get free after 5 yards. All of a sudden, a guy who was really nothing for the first 6 years breaks Namath's single season record with 2 extra games. It goes over 4,007. His career trajectory completely changed because of rule changes. So anyway, they didn't take Brock Bowers. They took the lineman because that's the smart thing to do. It's not the sexy thing to do. They're linemen. They picked up a couple of free agents that are 100 years old, that are former All-Pros. Somebody's going to get hurt, and they're going to have nobody on the bench, as they had last year, because they're the Jets, and they make bad decisions. As we talked last time, we had the intersection of Mangini. We left out the intersection or the commonality of Al Groh, right?
Al Groh.
And we both teams had Belichick for a few seconds and couldn't hang out with him,
We hated him here. I mean, we hated Belichick when he was here.
That's because he benched Kostar. He benched.
Yeah, I know.
He benched the Cleveland demigod, and it was.
I can say
you're really being. It's truthful. I mean, that's what happened.
He was done. Yeah, they didn't. They hated him for benching him for what? Mike Tomczak?
No, that's not even actually the whole picture because then he Testaverde, and that was the rest.
But that Testaverde got hurt.
But it was Vinny Testaverde. I mean, like the only thing he was known for was throwing interceptions, and that was all he was ever known for his whole time in Tampa Bay, and being great in Miami. That was the other thing. He was another Miami guy who was great as a college quarterback and was terrible in Tampa Bay. Whether it was his fault or not, he was not the guy we wanted to succeed. Bernie Kosar in Cleveland. So Belichick was an asshole. We hated him. We had to go, and that was how it went. I mean, looking back, maybe we were wrong, but
Strangely enough, Testaverde got the Jets 10 minutes from a Super Bowl in '98.
I remember that.
Yeah, he was famous for getting a lot of garbage time, yardage. He threw for like 63,000 yards or something in his career. It's a lot,
Yeah.
But it was in the fourth quarter when everyone was playing prevent defense, just killing the clock.
I mean,
Hey, Larry,
numbers.
Who has a better year this coming season? Aaron Rodgers or the guy now in Denver?
who's playing at Denver?
Denver, they just picked up Bo Nix.
Oh, Zach Wilson?
Yeah, Zach.
Well, Zach Wilson, is back.
I think. Do they have Darnold on the roster too? There,
Darnold's on the Vikings.
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
Vikings. And how about that Atlanta?
I don't know,
Falcons?
Jeff. I don't know.
They drafted Penix, right?
Penix, yep.
Yeah.
After signing Cousins to all that money.
$90 million to Cousins.
Gonna be a happy camp.
Yeah, what the
it's
hell?
a freak.
Oops.
It seems like the
Sorry
Browns
about
and
that.
the Jets, the league is littered with former high draft choices from the Browns and Jets at the quarterback position.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
True.
right?
Yeah, wonderful.
Well,
anyways, I was just being distracted. I apologize.
I'm sorry. I went on a riff.
I know it's not the Browns, but is JB fired yet?
No, JB's not fired yet.
He will after tonight.
Everyone's bitching
Why,
about him.
why? What's going on? Did the game start?
It's like 41-38, but I mean, I don't know what else they need to be embarrassed.
I can't even see anything yet. I'll have to wait till I get up to. Anyway, so what do you guys think about some of these rule changes that are going on in football right now about this kickoff and stuff like that? I mean, like they don't make a lot of sense. The NFL sometimes with what they're doing. Sometimes I don't know.
The big helmet.
You're taking away the ability to kick an onside kick whenever you want, which sucks.
Yeah, I mean, like there's certain rules that I just think they're tinkering a little much with some things. I don't know that everything I like it.
I mean, I hated not really having a kickoff. Like 10 guys the whole year would run one back. I mean, or whatever it was, but at least it might bring some excitement.
Yeah, I mean, if it does, then then that's great. If it does. But as soon as somebody gets hurt, then it's like, oh God, somebody got hurt. It's like it's fucking football.
But I think they still need to like protect running backs a little more. They're already making the least money in the NFL, other than like rotational players or whatever.
Yeah,
but isn't it more about like they don't give a shit about the actual person? There's a value on the position, and that's it. So it's like we invested this amount of money into this guy, so we must protect him. It has nothing to do with like, well, these are nice guys. We need to make them safe. I know they project that. I know they say though. Oh, there goes my phone.
He's gone.
He's in blackface.
I mean, the hip drop being gone might save some guys for seasons, but until they take away that, you can just trash a knee of a running back. What's the difference?
Well, I know, but it just seems like they feel like they're throwaways, so they're treated as such. Even by the rule makers or whatever. Let the hits be there, let the fans get their thirst quenched by the running back getting his head smashed. I don't know. That's just my thing. But yeah, I mean, like, so what do you guys feel about like as far as the Watson thing goes? And that's a big deal for the Browns right now. I mean, let's just be honest. We could talk about every other thing that we've talked about, and if he sucks, none of it matters. So
I mean, to me, Dorsey has had a pretty good track record with the last couple guys he worked with, and maybe Alex Van Pelt wasn't the answer. I mean, it's on Watson and keeping his head together and performing, but he's got to be protected too.
Do you guys ever watch any of the stuff like podcasts that he's on, Watson, or any of that stuff that he does, or any shows, or do you ever watch any of the stuff that he does off to the side from what he does on the field? Do you ever see any of it, or Ever see him out there? What he says, how he talks, how he presents himself, how he holds himself.
He's pretty much instructed not to talk.
No, he's actually. If you, I'll be honest with you, that's really you think that, but if you actually look into it, he's got his own podcast.
I mean, he's been a winner for a while. He hasn't won here yet. He won in Houston, Clemson, probably in high school.
National champion.
Getting on the right track.
I gotta say, like, if you just kind of like I've watched some of the stuff with him. If you just kind of watch him and listen to him and stuff, I don't think people would dislike him. I don't think. I mean, if you just based it on just like watching the guy talk and listen to what he's talking about and stuff, he comes off as like a pretty decent dude. Like and like I love how he gets singled out as the guy who's making all the money in pro sports. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, there's so many
probably
people,
fourth or fifth down the quarterback ladder.
7th right now.
Yeah, there's a ton of people who've made $1 billion in sports. I mean, not a ton, but there's enough. And to single this dude out like they do, it's like whatever. I mean, I'm just talking about that part because it gets exhausting to me. It really does.
He's not Rapelessberger.
Now, but the truth is, he does have to produce, and
he's got to put up the numbers this year for sure.
Yeah, and this says the year it's put up or shut up for everybody. Really, I mean,
no more excuses.
And I don't even care if the whole team gets hurt again. Then if that happens again, then you guys all got to go because the players you get are like glass.
I'll be happy even if he's not like all pro level. If he can manage the game well, if he doesn't throw the ball away, if he chooses the right time for the RPO, to take off and run and get the first down, just manage the game properly.
Yeah.
Because like when he starts throwing interceptions, then it's like.
Yeah.
Not always his fault either. Receivers got to catch.
Yeah.
I mean,
but I mean, but if eventually somebody's got to say enough is enough as far as making excuses for what's going on in the field.
Bryant was out there playing volleyball, and it's like the line has to learn to move with a running quarterback. They're used to a pocket passer. That's why Flacco succeeded.
What now? What are you saying?
The line has to learn to play with the running quarterback who extends plays.
I thought
Flacco
you said
succeeded because he was a statue.
Yeah. Well, and he was a tall statue. He was also a tall statue with a wicked arm. I mean, that was really what it was. He could see over everybody, and he could throw like a rocket. Those
Watson
things
has an arm.
I know.
Playing more than 5 games would be.
He does, dude. And if he's got an open field in front of him where you don't have anybody in front of him, like when he gets, that's his strength. He runs out of the pocket. When he's got that going on, he's fantastic. You've seen him do it year after year with Houston. And he had great receivers in Houston too. So that, listen, it doesn't matter. He just has to put up or shut up. Everybody does. The whole team's this guy. This is the year to put up or shut up. It really is. And it doesn't matter. His contract's going to run out eventually anyway. So.
Hey, who do you guys think is going to be the steal of this draft?
Well,
out of the whole
draft,
the
guys that we got from the Browns,
steal.
Not even the Browns, just the first round of the draft altogether. Maybe whatever round. Who do you guys think that sleeper is?
Wow.
Because everyone says, okay,
so many
Marvin
quarterbacks
Harrison,
got drafted.
Stover.
Who?
The tight end from
Cade
Ohio
Stover.
State.
Oh, Cade Stover. Yeah, who ended up taking him?
I didn't see.
Because that wasn't first round.
Houston did.
Houston?
Oh, yeah, that's right.
It wasn't the first round. It was second. He went to Houston.
Yeah, because
are you doing that from memory, Dan, right now?
I am doing that from memory, yes.
I remember seeing it too. Stroud to Stover. They were talking about that matchup.
What do you think, Larry? What do you think about the Browns? Do you ever care about them ever? Do you even
Of course I do. Oh,
come
yeah.
on. This year. What do you think about the Browns this year? You think they put together a good enough team to win it this year?
Yes, but both, again, they're mirror images. Two organizations that over 100 combined seasons can't figure out how to get back to the dance.
Yeah.
Let alone win it. So, and I got to tell you, it's like I said last time, because of the fantasy football effect and Collinsworth's PFF, I like data, but measurables have now trumped results. I don't give a shit who's an all-pro. I don't care. You know what I want? I want a championship. That's what you play for. You don't play for who. You play for championships. That's it. And Anybody who doesn't is shouldn't be in it. And unfortunately, because of NIL, I'm working on a lot with my daughter right now. It's what Nick Saban said. The kids now, they come in and know how much you can pay me and how much playing time am I going to get, or I'm going to enter the portal. What are you going to pay me?
Play
So
for 3
it's gonna have a
teams.
negative effect but that's another hole. That's a rabbit hole that the NCAA, the colleges already, they should have addressed that 20 years ago, and they didn't. So now they're in a bad spot. No, I loved the Cardiac Kids Browns. I used to love watching Brian Sipe in that. There's great teams. They're exciting. They're great football.
Oh, yeah.
Seemed to be that I was always down at the stadium, getting into a fight with a pack of assholes, always trying to,
I don't know.
So
man.
I want to take a poll. Who would sniff more fans, a Wolf or a Brian Sipe?
Who would do what? What do you think?
Brian Sipe loved to smell fans.
He was a sniffer.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
You said that last now. I didn't know that.
Hey, we all have our
He's a
fetish,
sniffer.
Yeah.
You got two teams that have to win now because it doesn't. Again, when your team as a kid growing up, when you care about if your favorite guy made the Pro Bowl, when your team stinks and isn't making any playoffs or championships, then you're like, well, my guy got this player of the year and that guy made pro. You know what? All the New England fans, they sat there with John Hanna made his 8 millionth Pro Bowl. Who cares? The team stunk in that era. He was a great player. It's a shame he wasted his career. So, I hope that these two teams find their way into the playoffs against one another and they actually fulfill their potential.
Well, actually, these two teams, when they do make the playoffs, do seem to hook up against each other often. I mean, it does happen. Yeah. It's like when they do make it's like when they do play, it's the Browns and the Jets.
Let's not go there. We talked about that one last time.
Yeah, we're not going out there again.
Please, once was enough.
Yeah, man. But it is. Everything you just said, though, 100% accurate. I mean, it is true.
They both got to win.
It's very frustrating. It's why it's so funny when we all said, I don't know about you, Larry, but we listened to some of the talk radio, the 92, and the stuff that's out there, and it's amazing when I hear some of these guys who talk about the fans, like, oh, I just don't understand the fans, and I just sit there and I listen to these guys say this stuff, and I'm like, I don't even understand how you don't understand human behavior and how people are to anything and how they react and what they've watched for the last 50 years and how they're not. Of course they're that way. Of course the people think the way they do. You hear the passion in your voice, Larry. You're pissed off. You're like, you fuckers suck. You fuckers suck. You fuckers suck. That's really what's coming out, and that's what I'm hearing. And it's
so many words. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You just are a little more elegant. But I mean, seriously though, what you're saying makes sense. I mean, that's how you're going to react if you're emotionally involved in this stuff. And so, like, for someone to say, "Well, I don't understand when fans act that way," well, that's why they say the things they do and act the way they do, and get crazy and do crazy things and say crazy things. That's why they do it.
I remember being at I was at the Monday night game many years ago. I think it was Kosar had a phenomenal game against the Bears that night at a Monday night game. Dan, do you remember? Okay.
Yep.
So I was down at the stadium for that. I went to a lot of games. And I remember I saw a guy walking up the stands with his kid, and he's wearing one's wearing a Refrigerator Perry jersey, and the kid's wearing a McMahon jersey. And there's a whole section calling the guy everything, calling him every name under the sun, talking about it. That kind of behavior, that's when the fans are being an assholes that I don't condone in any situation. Go out and get a fucking life. It's their entertainment. Okay. Now, is it passionate about winning? Yes. It's you got to be built to win in this, but it's a business for these guys.
Oh yeah,
it's a job. It's no different. You go to a company, they're looking to leveraging their career. They want to extend. They all want their second. Look, they all want their contract. The big money is in the second contract.
Yeah,
that's it.
The big money.
The big money is the second contract.
Definitely not.
You saw it with Bryce Huff, who the Jets let go, that went over to the Eagles. They didn't want to lose him, but they paid him $51 million for a situational pass edge rusher. Everybody's an edge now. There's no longer defensive ends. You're an edge
rusher.
Yeah, it's just. And Jeff, you made a great point earlier with running backs, and I will tell you, I've watched that Nick Chubb hit many times now since you pointed it out. It is really awful. Yeah. It really is. But you said something about them not getting paid. What a turnaround. I mean, there was
Yeah.
a time where you broke the bank for a great running back.
Oh yeah, that was the
The
prize.
game has just changed
Yeah.
so much. I don't really
Yeah.
like a lot of it. Like I did see a great meme today when you're talking about the rule changes. I'm sure you guys saw. I saw a meme today. It showed Roselle mitt versus Goodell mitt. And the Roselle mitt it shows somebody, I don't know, it showed Randy White or somebody, and he's got a cage and he's got a cool, when they went from monkey ears helmets, like I played with as a little kid, to a conventional helmet with a cage. And then they show the Goodell helmet, and it's that thing that they play and that they use in
Guardian
college
cap.
practice. That thing, yeah, that
The Guardian cap. It's called.
Plan 9 from outer
Ew, I
space,
hate that
whatever that
name.
thing is.
It's
I don't know.
hilarious. It's
You
incredible.
guys like that thing?
What's next?
Oh, I can't stand it. I can't stand it.
Like what's next? Like I don't know what they want. They're going to be playing.
Flag.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm in
Could they
trouble.
name something not Guardian?
Thank you. It's guaranteed to be cheap. It's guaranteed to fold with
Protectoman.
Anything
Yeah, they're gonna start
Guardian.
getting tampon sponsors.
But I mean, do you think there's going to be guys coming out and using that? They're going to feel like
Yes, there will be eventually. Oh, it'll hit.
There will be.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, of course they will. Of course there's going to be. It's going to happen. I don't think it'll happen in big numbers at first, but once it starts happening, it'll start just like anything else. It'll, whatever. It looks ridiculous, but whatever. I mean, I just think
They
there's
basically
already
took the insides of the helmet and put it outside. Is what they
listen.
did.
If I'm going to be honest about everything, there's a lot of things that have happened in football already that have definitely, without a doubt. I mean, I love football and I love the Browns, but there's definitely I don't have the same feeling that I once had for football. I'll say that it has naturally diminished just based on some of the rule changes. I got to be honest with you. Whether I don't know how this sounds, but I still believe that the team needs to protect the quarterback, not the league. Yeah. And I get that these guys have tons of money invested in it, but the line protects the quarterback, and the defensive line kills the quarterback. That's the game. And so when you start doing things to protect the quarterback, to me, immediately it took a big chunk of the game away that I loved, and that was the suspense and the scare of it. Like that whole thing of like that dude's kind of little and them dudes are kind of big, and like man, oh man, what's going to happen? And it was fun to watch all that, that dude scrambling around, and now it's like, I don't even know what I'm watching sometimes, and I don't know. And some of the penalties, and it's because of the penalties that I hate it so much. And just even some of the pass interference penalties now, like you're saying about defensive backs who aren't allowed to do anything, they decide games. These penalties that literally you watch, you expend 3 hours of your fucking Sunday watching this whole game, and then at the very end they throw a flag on a stupid penalty that flips the whole game around, ends it, game's over because of this penalty. That part of the game for me is like starting to ruin the game in some ways to me.
Well, think about the new rule now with the hip drop tackle.
Yeah, what is that? And you talk.
It's so stupid. It's like now it's like almost impossible for a defender to make a legit tackle in the National Football League. You can't go too high. You can't go too low. You can't use your leverage. Now it's like, what are you supposed to do? You can't go for the big money hit because they automatically flag you for fucking targeting. Or
it's obviously. Look, man, I hate to say it like this, but look, gambling becomes legal all over the place, and all of a sudden they create this freaking rule that is purely interpreted by the referee, period. It's not a concrete rule. You can't look at that something and say that is definitely what this is. It's always going to be a judgment call, always. So by miracle, this flag could literally go just think about it like this. There is at least one tackle in every single play that's not a touchdown, right? So every single one of those, there can be a 15-yard flag every single time if they decide to throw it. So and like they can't define this tackle. That nobody can define it. And you hear everybody talking, and I heard 5,000 different things. So therefore, they've now created a rule that they can literally just determine the outcome of any game without really having a lot of flack. Because the rules
to me, this was completely made because must-see TV was watching Aaron Rodgers play for the Jets. He lasted not even a series because of that exact tackle.
probably had.
And then Mark Andrews, they cite that one a lot for the Ravens.
And I'll tell you right now, that's probably how they argued to get that rule in place. But the reason they want that rule is because they love rules that can determine games that that have no concrete. It's not a good rule.
Well, guys,
it's not a good rule.
Aside from George Blanda, who played quarterback, you guys know George Blanda, I'm sure.
Yeah, the 80-year-old punter.
He played quarterback for a long time. I mean, who played for 100 years at that position? How many truly massive hits do you see on a quarterback now? You don't, and you haven't seen them for years because the roughing call. So they already protected the quarterback by eliminating basically. You got to pull yourself at the last second. It's a game of nanoseconds. You're talking about the people at the highest level and guys trying to pull up and not get called for roughing when you're in pursuit, when the game matters, when everything matters, and they're trying to pull so they don't get. And now they handled that. So now every quarterback plays for 140 years.
Yeah.
And then and Jeff, your point on Rodgers is true. The other caveat to that is that field at the Meadowlands is notorious. Both the Giants and the Jets and visiting teams have been asking for years to get that surface out of there. It's terrible. Yeah. They'll do other stuff to protect the athletes, but when the athlete says, please do this,
and it costs money,
they don't want to do it.
Yep. We're not talking about 18 games.
Nobody wants to dig up Hoffa.
Yeah. They want scoring, they want fantasy football points. Brian, you're right. They want the gambling.
Well, gambling is just so
we're
much
watching
fun.
Arena football is what we're it's transforming into. It's arena football.
We went from denouncing gambling like it was the most evil thing in the world. And I mean, when you go back into the history of sports, I know everyone brings up Pete Rose, but if you know the George Steinbrenner story, gambling has a huge part into why George Steinbrenner never bought the Cleveland Indians, and he ended up buying the New York Yankees instead. And it was treated as the most evil thing in the world. Now it's the most embraced thing, and it's nonstop commercials on. If you're watching anything, it's gambling commercials, and on the radio, everything you listen to on the radio now is sponsored by FanDuel.
Let's watch two fans duel.
Caesars.
So
365.
And it's crazy. It is. It's to me. It's just
still out, right?
Yeah.
DraftKings.
I mean, it's just a hypocritical society.
There's too many.
I don't know.
You asked earlier, Don. You asked who was the sleeper in the draft.
Yeah,
he went undrafted, but I'll throw a name out. A young man by the name of J.D. Tuplain, who I know played for Strongsville High School. He went to Michigan State. He was a 4-year starter at guard at Michigan State. I believe he's someone who's able to play all positions on the line. He was not drafted. Michigan State has not been Michigan State these last summer. Between the Larry Nassar stuff and the AD should have been the whole administration should have been cleaned out because of that. But Michigan State has not been themselves the last several years. So I think he suffered from that in the draft. But he was, I believe, invited to the New York Giants minicamp. So I think he'll make that team.
Hope he makes the team, man. That'd be great.
Strongsville.
Yeah, I hope so.
You know who I
love seeing local people do well.
Yep.
I thought was I can't believe that JJ McCarthy lasted. I think he was the fourth quarterback. It was the fifth quarterback taken. JJ McCarthy I think he's got the
mock.
He's got the most upside.
Tom Brady too.
Yeah, and you know what? I hate that team up north, just like all of us. But the thing that I love about McCarthy, he wanted to go to Ohio State. They didn't want him. So it's like, I like him then, his heart was in the right place.
Well, as far as the guys that the team up north goes, I mean, it goes the same thing with the Buckeyes. I mean, let's just be honest. Like, a lot of times and I always say my Buckeyes, I don't know why, it's weird, but
hey, I'm with
these guys, these guys get drafted by the Steelers or the Cowboys, right?
Yeah.
And so you're done. I mean, it's literally as quickly as you're drafted, I release
Larry
you.
got one.
Yeah.
The Jets got a good one.
Which one?
Garrett Wilson.
Oh, yeah. You guys got Wilson.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. He is.
Yeah, in fact, they picked up a receiver in the late rounds that they were very excited about. I can't think of his name. He's from Western Kentucky. And they're very excited because they gave him. They signed the older guy, Mike. They signed a free agent guy, but they needed to pick up. Yes, thank you, Dan.
Yeah.
I lose names. That's why, like I said earlier, I lose lyrics. I lose notes. Oh shit! There's going to be a debacle in August.
No way, man.
You'll be fine.
I'm going to have to call in some scrub players like 87. I don't know. To replace me.
Yeah, the scab season.
Scabs.
The Browns brought in an
Scab singer for the Manimals.
punt
What?
returner. The Browns
Carol
brought in
Wilson
an
is great,
undrafted punt returner. He's like 5'8". It's like shades of Gerald McNeil again.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah, I just read about that guy.
They brought in an undrafted running back. He's like 6'2", 260 or something crazy.
I saw that. It's kind of a tall running back, actually. For running
Yeah.
back, that guy's kind of like huge. Usually they're
Yeah, it's
way
like-
shorter than that.
It's like Bettis again.
Aiden Robbins from BYU, 6'2", 237.
Yeah.
Aiden Robbins. Whoa.
Sounds promising.
Sounds
I like
like
the
a
name.
And then the receiver you were talking about, his name is Amarian Brown from South Carolina.
Yeah.
Oh,
They guaranteed him $150,000 to sign.
Didn't they bring in a tight end that has like a crazy wingspan?
Trayton Welch from Wyoming, yeah.
man, dude. The Heavy Metal Podcast gives you the best information on sports.
Yeah.
No doubt about it. Anyway, so what do you think about that then? What are we thinking? Are we thinking the Browns are building the Super Bowl? Is this the year, dude? I mean, seriously, everybody, is this the year we're
It
gonna
has
actually-
to be.
think
Across
so.
the board.
There's a good
Across the
chance.
board, it's about health.
Yeah, and I think they have the talent.
Oh, they got the talent, they got the depth.
Is Foose talking?
Le-
No,
le- less-
I can't hear you, dude. We can't hear Don.
Yeah.
Can't hear you. Nope, can't hear you. Yeah,
Do
when you flip,
signs.
There you are.
yeah. Do you know sign language?
I could hear Jeff a minute ago. I heard
Foot?
Can you hear him right now?
No.
No, he's
No.
talking.
it's low. It's very low.
Me no speak no English.
No, man, your microphone's off. I don't know.
Pretty
Try
don't need no
something.
music.
I will say, watching the draft the other day, watching them, I think they're up in Detroit, right? Detroit,
Yeah.
Rock City.
Yep.
They had it there live, and it was pretty cool. I like seeing all the knuckleheads dressed as their teams, regalia, whatever they get up. So I think that's pretty funny. It's amusing.
It is.
It's silly, but it's fun.
Everybody
back-
ripped on. Everybody ripped on how bad Goodell's intro was with Eminem.
Oh, I didn't see that part.
That was cool. You hear me now?
Seem hip.
Yeah, we
Well,
got
yeah.
you.
Yep.
Okay.
Was it good or not, Jeff?
It was dumb.
Was it? I didn't see it.
Yeah.
Not worth.
He's
It's
like,
not worth
he's
me
like,
looking for it.
gonna rap with me, Em? Are we gonna battle?
Oh no. Oh,
Oh,
no.
A
God.
couple of white
Sit
guys
down.
trying their best to fit in.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
great. That's great.
Goodell's terrible.
He
He's
is.
horrible.
Yeah.
He is. He's such a. He's just no personality.
He's
Just
just a
absolute
douche.
like a robot of a human being.
They said he
just
could
like-
barely. They said he could barely walk across the stage after all the big guys kept tugging him. And he was struggling to get to the mic.
With the
Like
first
bringing a young,
pick.
I'll tell you what.
bringing a young commissioner. What the hell?
That guy's pulling a caper on everybody because I think maybe the owners push him around. I don't know what because what does he make? About $43 million a year, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Something
Yeah,
stupid.
6. I thought it
We're
was
talking about
6.
players. What does that guy risk?
Those core owners own that guy.
Nothing, but he protects them. He protects every one of them owners. He's right there to take every hit, every blow, everything. They don't
Piling
have to
on
do-
those extra 5 games on the show.
Yeah, they'll pay him whatever. They don't care.
Terrible
He had
leadership.
6.
Yeah, he's terrible.
Stupid.
He's
These are
terrible.
6 games. No, we gotta give him 11.
But he's making them money. He's making them money, and that's all they care about.
He
They're
makes
going to play that Wednesday game this year, right? Isn't it the Christmas game is going to be on a
Christmas
Wednesday?
game on Wednesday, yeah.
I mean,
Wow.
Who's playing?
And they're already talking about what is it? 18 games. I heard about that, and then 2 preseason games, and then having the Super Bowl will be on President's Day weekend. And then there is a Friday night game that he wants to do like regularly.
You want excitement? That guy should play each team's mascot every week of the season. Come on, the mascot suit.
Put Goodell versus the
your
mascot. Good, the show Goodell versus the mascot, and it's just the mascot in a ring with boxing gloves.
In a ring.
California raisins, baby.
Dude, that is the best. Maybe we can do like a fake version of it. We'll just dress up like the mascot.
My money's on the mascot. Every mascot.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Real quick, here's what I want to talk about. What's going on in the music world a little bit too. The Browns thing was fun. We hit the draft. It's fun, but right now, dude, things are popping. I know this is supposed to be a sports thing, but dudes, things are.
It's
popping.
the Moshpit, Bri.
It is, man, and to be honest with you, what I saw Saturday with Don running around the stage was very athletic and sports-like, I guess, in some way.
I was trying to be Statue West.
He's doing the long jump into the crowd.
Landing on hoods.
Yeah, it was just an amazing night of old school metal coming back. You guys sounded exactly like Purgatory. It was just a great night. The crowd was fucking awesome. The Maple Grove just puts on it's a fun place to see a show, man. It really is.
I was loving that second verse of Shattered Vision so much I sang it twice.
It happens, man. Even you forget lyrics, right? Everyone forgets them. Right? It was a fun night, man. It was a blast. I'll tell you what, Dark Secret opened up. That was a good band, man. They were surprisingly they really kicked him out and killed it.
If I shut my eyes, I swear it was me on stage in the 80s. And the guy's name was Jeff.
Yeah, and I talked to him for a while. He was a really cool dude, man. All them dudes were really cool. It's a cool band, man, opening up. And then of course Ed Stevens and you got Eric Matthews and the whole fucking gang of fucking Slayers doing the fucking Iron Maiden shit. And it was fun. It was a fun night, man.
Ed Stevens was my Hatrix bass player for about 5 minutes.
Really?
Yeah.
No shit. He's played bass for like just about everybody.
Yeah, he's another band whore.
Yeah, he is, man. But he's great.
I love it. That was pretty cool seeing Vic up there talking about Ken, and how emotional he was.
Ken's sister also had a great thing when that was really great. And I'll tell you what, Chrissy from Olathe was the best. Nobody can do what she does better than her.
She's like the heavy metal mom of Cleveland.
She really is, man. I mean, like she had it. She has that whole thing down to a science. Like, and then she'll go up. We were laughing about that. I was like, yeah, and then you put a guitar and a bass and a drum set behind her, and she's like, she's freaking screaming and growling and just amazing, man.
I heard that Sabotage cover that she did. It sounds like the singer of Sabotage,
Yeah, it's a great band.
Yeah.
Lathe got a great band behind her. That's just a great band in general. And they're playing that festival in Chicago? Oh, there I go.
Uh-oh.
I
really had a blackout.
Let go. Yeah, it's Scorpions night.
Wake up.
Yeah, they're playing that, but they're playing that. Oh, fuck. That mother. Oh. They're playing that festival, I think, in Chicago this weekend, ain't it? Olathe is opening it or something like that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I can't remember what it's called right now. It wasn't
Chicago
really
Open Air. It's probably too early for that.
Yeah, I thought it was in Chicago at Reggie's.
That's cool.
But anyway,
can I ask? Because I unfortunately I was not there. I don't get out much, guys. And you said I was out of town. Jeff, was that the first show that Purgatory has done since you've reformed?
We played in 99, and then we played again in 2004, and this is our first show in 20 years.
All right.
And it was cool because Tony Ross was the only guitarist, and he really pulls it off.
Yeah, he really does.
It's like you can't even tell there's not two guys at sometimes. Like he plays the leads and rhythms really good.
Yeah, it was. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was just saying, how did it feel? when you got on stage? How long did it feel? Did it feel locked in immediately? Did it take a few minutes to feel like, hey, I'm doing these songs again?
To be honest, I felt like more myself at a couple of the practices because in-ear monitors are always a trick because you're either on and really comfortable or it's a little bit off the whole show and you get through, but you wish it could have been what you really wanted to do. But I'm glad everyone liked it.
Yeah, I'll say that I went to all their practices. I went to all with Jeff there, and they it was okay. I'll just say this: the first song is tied to the tracks. They're playing the music tied to the tracks, and I'm like, wow, man, that guitar player, man, it sounds just like that fucking song. And then Jeff is just but as soon as them vocals went in there, it was holy shit. That's the song right there. Like, that's really happening right now. Because I loved Purgatory. That was like
me too, man. I love it.
That was one of the first bands that got me into metal. And then so then here they are. I'm in Kenny's fucking barn, and these guys are playing right in front of me, man. And Jeff starts singing. It was over. I was like, well, this is it. So
it's crazy. So 20 years later, the lyrics all just came back to me. It's nuts. I didn't really read them.
What's funny is funny thing is back when I first met Jeff, it was after one of their shows. They went back to the Purgatory House to have a party.
Yeah.
It was a couple of guys there, Tony Ross and Brand Newton, and just a few of the Purgatory guys were living there. And I just started hanging around Jeff that night. And then shortly after that, the band moved out of that house, and I wrote about it in my latest book. Their landlord was like, man, I got to get rid of this house. He goes, I need insurance money. So I torched the place for $300. Yeah. When I set the house on fire and stuff. And so it was like,
we should have made a video in front of it. What the fuck?
Yeah, that was like the night, I met my buddy, man, and then I torched it, but it was funny. But those were great times back then, hanging out by Mr. E's, where they used to jam downstairs, the basement there by Mr. E's, and just hanging out all the time and going to all those gigs back then. It was electric.
I'll tell you what, it was electric that night. Oh, I'm sorry.
I'll never forget. We were driving in the car to go get shirts out in Brunswick, and one buddy's like, "Hey, you'll fight. Listen to your words. I know you'll fight." Started like somebody's ass because of my lyrics.
Oh yeah, dude. Everybody knows that heavy metal guys are tough. Everybody is.
Tough guy.
That's awesome, man.
You'll fight.
That's great. All right, guys. Well, that's it. I think we're out of time. That was an hour.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Unless you guys want to just keep going, we can just keep doing it. I don't give a shit. You want to roll a little longer? Keep going. Want to go? You guys got something to do? No.
Right. Take my Geritol.
You gotta go work out.
Take my Geritol.
Don, I will say, Don, you are in good shape, dude. Like I was like, man, dude, you got it. You do work out a lot, don't you?
I'm pretty slight myself, man.
Dude, you're slendered up. You're all nice and slendered up, rock and roll style. All you guys, man, not like me. I still sitting here. I'm like, man, I gotta get rid of this belly already, man. I gotta wolf it up.
Hi. Bill Ward over here.
Yeah, well. I know what you mean. I mean, it's tough, man. I when I see pictures of the wolf, though, when I was seeing some of this footage from the weekend that you guys were putting up. There's some of the pictures and stuff. I'm like, I mean, this guy makes me look so silly. He's so huge, and if I just had half of that, man, I'd feel pretty good about myself. But
my favorite picture of Larry's on the Manimals album with got the devil locked down. That's the coolest picture.
Yeah.
Okay, can I thank you, Don, but can I give you a full disclosure on that?
Okay.
That was an unfortunate decision to do that. With you know what that really came from? People always associate because we played with the Misfits, great band. They're great band, one of my favorites. That was really, you know what that was? It's over one eye because at an early show at the Pop Shop, Brian Gregory, who was the former guitar player with the Cramps, showed up to watch us one night. and I had seen the Cramps up in Detroit at Clutch Cargo's, I think in '81. It was after he had left the band. But the one album, the Gravest Hits album, he has a big swoop of white hair over one eye. And the guy walked by me with white contacts and with the big swoop, and he's a real ratty looking dude. And I thought, boy, he looked like a corpse. I mean, so I walked by and I'm wearing my stuff, and this guy walks by, and we looked at each other, and then I went inside. I think it was Chris Anderson said, that was Brian Gregory came out to check you guys out. He was a creepy looking guy, but I thought his hair on that Gravest Hits album was cool looking, so I did that. Well, what happened was you start playing, get sweaty, it goes down the middle, and then because nobody in Cleveland knew who the fuck they were at that time.
Right. Might as well have been you invented it, right?
Were until '87, until the Garage Days thing visited, and the band had been gone for 4 years at that point.
Yeah,
but it was really a Brian Gregory Cramps thing. It just was an unfortunate decision on my part.
Oh, you don't like it? I think it's
picture,
cool.
dude.
Yeah. When you say it like that, though, it sounds like you regret it. I think it's pretty cool. I mean, like,
No,
it's
awesome.
I mean,
we're all veterans of the Hair Over One Eye Club.
yeah, it started a whole trend.
I don't know.
There was a lot of that.
Well, Dante, I got to say, I'm really, as I mentioned earlier, guys, when BigBri, you brought up the show in August. Jeff, we never got a chance to play together.
No.
Other than the time you had us out at Mushroom Head. We played on the show with you guys once at Lorraine, we talked about last time.
Yeah.
But we were outside of the what I'll call the Auburn family at that time. We just were. We didn't fit in with the whatever to me, punk rock was already done by the time I had transformed into crossover music, which is what I was always trying to do. It was already had run its course by the time we started playing Cleveland, 84, 85, in my opinion. So, we were in more of a metal thing, so we didn't fit with that crowd, and we weren't really fully embraced by the Auburn thing, because God bless Bill Peters, he became a tremendous friend in our second go round, starting in '99. Don, we did that together 25 years ago.
Yeah.
But in that first go round, we were really on the inside or the outside looking in. So we didn't get to play with, then Destruct opened first couple of times. We were supposed to play with Breaker once. That didn't happen. And we never really got to play with anybody. So I'm looking forward to play. I know that Purgatory is, you're a total pro. I know Purgatory is a legendary band, and we're happy to play that with you guys. And, the guys at Midnights are my dear pals. So when
That's
they called
awesome.
me for that, and they hit me a few times. I get offers to play over these last 12 years, and I just politely decline. And this one was just too good of an opportunity with people I like and bands I want to play with. So
That's
I'm
awesome.
very excited. I feel very honored that we get a chance to do this.
I'm so glad, brother.
It's gonna be a special night. It's gonna be a special night. I mean, there's no way I miss that for nothing. If both my legs fall off, I will go crawl with my hands all the way there if I have to.
And I want everybody at their absolute best.
I will be there, dude. That's gonna be the best. It's gonna be the best. It's gonna be an amazing
Every
night.
band to be at their absolute best.
Yeah.
I cannot wait for that, man. I
can't
cannot wait. I just can't. I know it's gonna be great, and you're gonna have. It's gonna be Deep Into the Red and Super fucking Fist in the same night. I can't wait, dude. It's gonna be. It's like, I just cannot wait. All right, guys, we're gonna wrap it up. This has been a good time. This is a really good time, and I want to thank you guys for hanging out with me tonight, man. I always love hanging out with you guys, like legends. Yeah. I get to hang out with a bunch of legends and freaking fuck it.
Yeah.
I get to hang out with the legends.
Yeah, dude, it's so fun, man. Just knowing everybody. So
We used to practice upstairs from legends.
Yeah, right. I get that. All right, so we're gonna call it there, man. Everybody, thanks for watching, and we'll be back in probably about a month or so.
Love you all.
Yeah, we'll be back in about a month or so to talk to you guys again.
Dig it, cats. Thank you all.
Don't be afraid,
brothers. See ya.
And hey,
Thank you.
August
Good night,
17th, get your tickets for that show. August
Hell
17th,
yeah.
you can get your tickets right now. Just go online, you can buy tickets. $25 a ticket. That's what it is. And there's no fees. I think it's like a $3 fee for 2 tickets. It was $53. Just so you guys know that. All right. We'll see you guys later.
All
Later,
right.
guys.
Peace out.
See ya.
See ya.
Thanks. Later.